The signal is given.
Death to me!
Oh yeah, come on, good to see you. Oh, that's a good sound. Is that cool?
Oh yeah.
Good to see you, yes.
Good seeing you again, my friend.
And I see you guys really want to be close to one another. It's amazing how you came in and said, I want to be 22 seats from the person next to me. Okay. Anyway, we're here, so go ahead. Let's talk. You can ask about anything except the movie business, personal life, and Comic Cons, okay? That's a joke, guys. It's a joke. That's a funny joke. Wow. What do I need to do to wake you up? Come on, that was funny, man. You ask about anything you want, all right?
Well, Sam, I was going to say, we have a couple of folks that were wanting to ask some questions right off the bat, if you don't mind.
Yeah, fire away.
I think this gentleman had a question right here.
Hey there.
Yeah.
I was at your panel last year, and one thing I never heard anybody ask you about was the pig movies, how you got involved in that.
You guys hear that? He said that he was here last year, and he forgot to ask, or nobody asked about the TED movies I did. We did TED 1 and TED 2, obviously. Signed for TED 3, but no announcement yet because it's all based on, when you're doing sequels, it's based on the previous numbers. So obviously TED 1, I don't know if you knew about, how many know about the specific success of TED 1? I mean, it became #1 in the history of Hollywood under the category of an original R-rated comedy. Original R-rated comedy, it did more than financially than any movie at the box office, 600 plus million. Now, R-rated comedies are known to do, not a lot of them, but 600 million plus, but an original R-rated comedy. So that meant that TED 2, they always want sequels to do about 2/3 the business. That means that TED 2 should do, by the time they calculate everything, should do up to about 400 million. I don't know what the numbers got there yet, okay? But we are signed for it, but that doesn't really mean anything until they say, okay, it's a green light, and let's do it. Let's get her done. Next. Anything, guys, come on. How about?
But I was going to say, if nobody has a question, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan, right?
Dan Johnson, yes.
How did I know that?
We did it last year, man.
Yeah, plus it's on your badge.
It is indeed.
That's funny, guys. Oh my goodness, okay.
We're going to have to wake him up, man, I'll tell you.
That's all right.
Who's on first?
Yeah. Oh, who's on second?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's on third.
Who's on third?
Third base.
Who's on first?
Who's on first?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Who's on first?
Well, I don't know who's on second.
No, who is on first?
Who is on? Oh, his name. Who? Yeah, you're right. His name is who?
Well, no, I had a question.
Yeah.
Now, Seth MacFarlane, he's a very smart man.
Yes.
I would say almost brilliant. I want to know if he's going to do a no-brainer and have you on the Oracle.
Well, I've been asked that a couple times. Yeah, it'd be great, but you don't. I mean, if he wants me, he wants me. I don't. He knows where I am, who I am, and what I can do. So yeah, and I don't take any of that personal. I don't take any of that stuff personal. Even as a creator, if I sit down and write something, put something together, just because I have friends, good friends in the business, maybe they're not right for a certain part. So I am not even going to bring my friends into my project unless I believe that they are the right choice. It's not about talent. It's about, are they the right choice for this particular project? Yeah.
I just think it would be perfect to have you do just like a little cameo like Liam Neeson did. I think it would be awesome.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Well, I was going to.
Okay, he's got one right there. Go ahead.
So you've done sci-fi genre, you've done appearance of humor now twice. Where do you see yourself going, or where would you like to go?
I'll just keep doing it. I'm a former Marine before I was an actor, so you hear all these answers to questions like, why did you choose to do that? How was it? And well, here's my answer. First of all, it's a blessing to work. Okay, so maybe in my early career I was in a position to pick and choose, but when you hear the majority of actors say, yeah, I had to give it some thought on really wanting to do that part, that's a lie. Okay, I tell you what, it's a lie. Here's the statistics of actors all actors around the world, okay? 3% of all actors in the world make enough, there's only 3% of working actors that can actually pay their bills and make a living. That means 97% of all actors around the world have to have a secondary job or income to pay their bills. So it just, now there are, of course, top bankable names, Liam Neeson, Cruise, Denzel Washington, of course. They can pick and choose literally until the year 2025, if not beyond that. But the 97%, which I'm in, it's a blessing. So when the job is offered, unless there's something really egregious or really negative, most of us are choosing it, saying, yes, thank you for the work. And I tell a lot of people, you know, even if you're in the hit, the #1 TV show of the year, well, that's only 4 to 6 months of work. And then maybe the phone won't ring for another 6 months or another year. So we better be living below our standard of living. But yeah, anytime I get a job offer, yes, my first question when someone says, hey, I want to send you a script, my first question is, okay, I mean, unless it's Seth MacFarlane or something like that, I'll say to them, okay, do you have all financing in place? And if they say no, then I'll say, you know what, God bless you, but send me the script when you got a green light, when you're good to go, when you got all your money in place. Otherwise, I'm 63. I got kids, grandkids. I got a life. You got a life. Why are we wasting time? Well, I want to take you to lunch. Okay, well, let's talk about it now. So I'm sort of hitting a dead horse in the head, being redundant here, but it's all about time management, time quality, but also nipping things in the bud. If we, as the 97% actors who can't pay our bills unless we have a secondary income, then we pretty much accept whatever is put in front of us. And I know that's a long answer, but I just had to, I'm passionate about that, about actors who lie, okay? It's a blessing to get that job offer, and we do it. Yes?
You worked for years, right? Do you have a favorite movie you've done?
Well, yeah, it's a great career. My favorite project is the TV series, The Highwayman. Why? Because you love that, yeah. Why? Because we're working outside, 99% of the time, outside, not interiors, in the great outdoors of Arizona for 6 months. You're at night in the superstitious mountains, so cold, and we took these big metal garbage cans, big metal, gigantic steel ones, and cut holes in them and broke up furniture, you know, to get the bonfires going. That's cool, man. And then, of course, during the day, the heat and all that stuff, and riding horses and driving trucks and fast cars. I just loved it. I loved, as opposed to Flash Gordon. Yeah, I love Flash Gordon, but we only had 1 week of outside of exteriors, and that was at a beautiful place in the Isle of Skye in Scotland. The rest was 5.5 months inside sound stages. So, I like to be, I'm an outdoorsy guy, you know. But Highwayman, my favorite project.
I was going to say that one. You also had to, what was it, Jocko? Was
the what?
Yeah, the Australian.
Oh, Jocko, yes.
Yeah.
He was a big Australian rules football star, yeah.
Yeah.
Next, come on, anything.
How tall are you?
Well, I grew up to be 6'3", so I'm 63 now. I'm sure if I stand up straight, I'm still 6'3", so I gotta always watch my posture. Yeah, and thank you for reminding me to sit up straight.
I think that's I gotta do the same thing. So, well, no, I did have a question. And in fact, this is something we were wanting to talk to you about for another thing for back issue. The Spirit pilot that was done for ABC.
That's right.
We were talking about that before you came in. And,
good.
A lot of folks were not aware of it, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful.
Well, yeah, it was endorsed by Will Eisner.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was 1985 for Warner Brothers and ABC. Loved it. We filmed it as the television pilot. A pilot, for those who don't know, meaning it's they're filming it to be a TV series, but it came out as a movie of the week. Why? I mean, there's no rhyme or reason why. Well, TV, I think you have more challenges because you have more accountability, more chiefs and authority to answer to. You know, you have the network, you have the studio, et cetera, et cetera. Independent films, you know, there's nobody to answer to unless you make a really big distribution deal with a distribution company. But yeah, so we thought it was going to go. I did. I loved it, you know. But it didn't go. It came out as a movie of the week.
We had some great guest co-stars.
That's right.
Anna Visitor.
That's correct.
For Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Bumper Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very, very well cast.
Yeah.
And I mentioned also that it was a little bit like the Dick Tracy film where
That's
it was
right.
like a lot of the basic colors and everything. So
Yeah.
it looked like it was taken almost from the comic strip page.
Yeah, that royal sort of electric blue.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And the theme song. The theme song is just very catchy. It's just,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's why, again, to work in the business, again, is a blessing. If your project does well, it's a bigger blessing. And if something like Flash Gordon, which we filmed 38 years ago, that means in 2 years, it'll be 40 years ago. So what that means is that longevity is even, it's like icing on the cake. It's just amazing. And that, you know, kind of, I think of it as sort of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but even, to me, it's a visual masterpiece. It really is.
Oh, it is.
You know, Dino De Laurentiis brought in, I think, 200 Italians in the wardrobe and costume department, and they just spent weeks and weeks and months, you know, doing. Back then, it wasn't okay. It was what it was, for instance, all the Ming the Merciless and Ornella Muti, Princess Aura, all these costumes were individual sequin beads. You know, I think Max's Ming the Merciless outfit was 30 to 35,000 individual beads. So my point on that is it was about 60 pounds, number one, weight. And number two, visually what that sequin and that beading does as opposed to other types of materials, it just becomes vibrant and pops and becomes rich. And you take the Dinello Donati, the production designer, et cetera, and all the colors, the golds, the silvers, the blacks, the reds, it's just, yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, the thing is, too, you get someone like Michael Keaton in Batman, and you think to yourself, he doesn't look like Batman. And you get other actors, and it's like, they don't really look the part. You guys, again, everyone in the film looked like the characters in the comic strip. I mean, it was just spot on casting.
Yeah.
And brilliant casting, too. Because, like I said, it's just, no, you're right, it is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that when it came out, I was like 10 years old, and people my age are now showing it to their kids and then their grandkids.
Right, that's right.
And it's being rediscovered just like a classic film like Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, that's why Seth MacFarlane, is, based on what you just said, how it's passed down, that's why Seth MacFarlane called me, because when he was 8 years old, he saw the movie Flash Gordon. And I got a phone call one day, whenever that was, 7 years ago, and he said, well, I was 8, Sam, I saw your movie. It changed my life. And I said, well, how did it change your life? And he said, well, when I walked out of the movie theater, I knew I wanted to be a creative type person. And so my reply was, well, Seth, you not only became creative, but you also became a bit perverted. I hope I had nothing to do with that. He laughed. But anyway, so there's that age demographic, that generation right there. So Ted, the Ted franchise opened up that new age group for me, my children's age. So it's wonderful.
Well, I think one friend of mine said he showed it to his 16-year-old daughter and saw Flash Gordon. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Ted.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny about that age group? No, they tell the truth. Even for the younger, the teenagers, older teenagers who have not seen Flash Gordon or maybe didn't remember it or whatever, they'll refer to that. They'll say, you know, that movie that Queen did the soundtrack to.
Yeah.
Or talk about Mark Wahlberg or something like that. But anyway, that's how they relate to it. It's wonderful. So hopefully hopefully this age group that I just mentioned will see Flash Gordon, and they'll understand Ted. They'll understand Ted even more, because that was the overriding theme, I think, is that these two guys grew up partying, watching Flash Gordon, you know, from youngsters to all the way through their adult life, and that was the impact on them in the movie Ted. So I think the youngsters here have to see Flash Gordon, and they'll appreciate Ted even more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is your favorite superhero?
Well, that would be Flash Gordon.
Is it?
Yeah, my favorite superhero, of course it is, by all means. Yeah, I mean, it's uncanny how many similarities there are between me and him, you know. I mean, I have been a bit naive on a lot of things in my life. And of course, Flash Gordon is, and you know, there's no brainstorming here. Flash Gordon looks at somebody, if it's innocence that's being attacked or abused, he steps in, and he's the go-to guy to neutralize. That's a good politically correct word to use. He's the go-to guy to neutralize or fix any situation. And the fact that he doesn't have superpowers, he relies solely on his wit and his athleticism. And common sense, practical thinking. You know, there's no confusion about, oh, well, good is now bad and bad is now good. No, with Flash Gordon, good is good and bad is going to get his or her ass kicked, okay? And neutralized. That's how it is, all right? Yes?
In your original movies, did you have a stunt double, or did you do all the fight scenes?
Well, if she didn't hear the question, she wanted to know if I had a stunt double in all my movies. All of my movies, if it had anything to do with other than fighting, if it was high falls, fire gags, yes. Or now some car things I did as well. But as far as most of my fight scenes, I did myself. But when I did, was it Ted 1 or Ted 2, where the Japanese guy stuck, I punched a hole in the wall. Was that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I was so excited because this was my first, I've been doing a lot of movies, but this was my first big studio movie, and to be working with Universal again, in many, many years. It was almost 30 years since I worked with Universal. Since we did Ted, Flash Gordon. So this was my opportunity. All these new stuntmen heard about me, that he loves to do his fight scenes, and I was all prepared to do that big fight scene, you know, that you saw. And I get in trouble a lot on the movie set from improvising and ad-libbing. And of course, at my age, you want to stay limber and supple and stretch. So anyway, and the action, when I put my fist to the wall, okay, that was cool, that was no big deal. And then we did that, and then when the action called, when we turned the camera around to have the Asian guy take the butcher knife through the hole at me, right? Well, I was just supposed to grab his hand and bite his wrist, right? That was my action. But for some reason, I just decided to throw a front kick, okay? And I've been stretching all morning, you know, and I wasn't, 4 or 5 hours went by, and I snapped the muscle next to my hamstring. You actually heard it snap, right? That was not, it was not pleasant. I mean, I went down hard, and I knew I was done. I mean, the paramedics wrapped it up, and it was embarrassing because I couldn't even get up off the ground, you know? I had one, you know, they had to help me up, and so this was before the fight scene, okay? The party fight scene, all right? And now I knew they had to get the stunt double. I know it's the wrong answer for that, but so I didn't get to do any of those fight scenes. But when it comes to real stunts, use real stuntmen. And now at my age, yeah, I'll let that. I'm not going to be rolling on the concrete anymore, you know, jumping up and kicking somebody anymore. But go ahead.
In your older Flash Gordon movies, you did all of the fights.
I did all the fights. I did everything. Let me see, Flash Gordon. I'm trying to think if I did everything. Even I did even the rope climbing. When I got so tired when you climb the rope freely, 12, 15, 18 times, and they want to do another take, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. I don't care if you're working, there's nothing left. So what, the director was really creative. He said, no, just climb down the rope, and we'll reverse the film. And that's what they did. So I just, climbing down is easier, right? Climbing down, you can still be smooth, climbing down the rope. And that's what we did. But no, I think I did everything, even obviously all the rotating disc stuff. I fell a lot off the disc onto stacked boxes, but other movies, fire gags, I didn't touch. High falls, I did not touch. Just trying to, car scenes, yeah, they primarily, but I learned to drive. I mean, I did a show years ago called Celebrity Daredevils in Las Vegas. Bob Stiver's Celebrity Daredevils. I did a big airborne, I went off a ramp and did a T-bone crash where I shaved off the tops of these other cars and blew up and all that kind of stuff. But I was trained for that. But yeah, but most stunt driving, the stuntmen do it. The fight scenes, yeah, if it's simple, just some stand up, a few basic kicks, whatever, I'll do that now. But I'm not rolling on concrete, I'm not diving, and I'm certainly not going to do any more front kicks without stretching. It was embarrassing. Oh, my leg, I can't get up, that's embarrassing, man.
I think this gentleman had a question.
Yeah.
Love all your stuff, love Flash Gordon, love Code Red, but Highwayman is like my favorite.
That's it, man.
And could you explain the original Highwayman, Terror on the Blacktop, whatever, is so different from the rest of the series?
Yeah.
Like a target audience, and they decided to...
Yeah, Glenn Larson's the character. I don't know if he was the producer of that. He passed away now, but I mean, you would know him back then. Just mention any TV series in the 80s. Buck Rogers, Magnum P.I., B.J. the Bear, name some others. I think Glenn Larson had 4 on the air at the same time. So, he was, the way he did things, he would, he just wanted to cover all bases. So we shot the pilot, the way you said it was incredible. And then he decided to fix it when it wasn't broken. He brought in the Aussie, from Australia, okay, which was kind of cool because he had a really good, the younger kids, tiny kids, that demographic, they loved Jocko, the guy that said, knock that battery off my shoulder, whatever, but the adults hated Jocko, couldn't stand him, so we lost that demographic. But this show was not broken. It was not broken. We had the cast in place. It was working. It was creative scripts, but they decided to get fancy and add all this other nonsense.
It seemed a lot darker initially.
It became darker, more gadgets and gizmos. I mean, it was good enough, just this federal marshal driving a big rig truck that dressed like a road warrior, who had a license to do whatever he wanted to do. Oh man. Yeah, he was just kicking ass, But they wanted to fix it. I mean, back then, he was spending, this is 1988, 89, he was spending $1.2 million an episode. That's crazy back in the 80s. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, I loved it. And I forgot to say, so he called me 4 years ago and said, we are bringing, when you get a call from Glenn Larson, it's a green light, He said, we're bringing it back, you're the guy, boom, boom. I said, we had 4 or 5 meetings, it was great. Costume fittings, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna shoot a little teaser, what do they call it? God, it's a sizzle reel. A sizzle reel. That's a little presentation reel to sell something. And all of a sudden, he passed away. Okay, so that was his heart, So that was that. Well, I've been trying to get a hold of the family because the family owns it. He had 7, 8 kids. So I'm sure it's in probate or something. But yeah, very hush-hush series, owning the rights. But anyway, yeah, that was one of my favorites. But it's another point proven. Don't fix anything. Don't fix any relationship. Don't fix any TV show or movie or anything, or Comic Con, if it's not broken. Okay, just let it continue, let it continue. And now if you have to reach additional age demographics, then okay, tweak some things, reach those kids, you know. Get an actor or actress that age, put them in there for a couple guest spots or something like that. But don't change the whole concept, because it'll bite you in the backside. And guess what happened? That was Highwayman 1988-89. This is 2017. Where's the Highwayman? Yes, sir.
In Ted, you played a character that had your name. Do you have to take any precautions playing that character versus any other character?
Well, it's a very good question. What you're basically saying, here it is. I had an offer to play myself, to do a parody, to make fun of myself as Sam Jones and Flash Gordon in a movie. That's what I was presented with. So I told Seth, I said, man, it sounds great. Let me read the script. I said, yeah, I didn't argue whether I'm going to do it or not. But I just said, yeah, I want to do it. Just send me the script. Let me see what I have to do. So I read the script and I thought, okay, wow. It's pieces and parts of me, but it's not really all of me. And I told Seth, I said, Seth, I got a pretty big Flash Gordon fan base, younger kids as well. What you've written, the original script, I said, I can't, excuse me. I said, I can't do a lot of that stuff. I mean, he wrote a three-page monologue on the benefits of doing every narcotic you could possibly think of. Okay, it's funny, but when you sit there and you hear some young minds listening to Sam Jones, not the actor, you know, but Sam Jones, the man, and the Flash Gordon, the character, endorsing every possible thing you could think of, okay, or that's not even created yet, right? It was very disconcerting. And I told my wife, I said, honey, and I went to Seth, I said, hey, and this is a quick little story just about not operating in fear. So I said, honey, so I went back to Seth. I said, Seth, I can't do this. He said, you know, Sam, I talked to Universal, and I'm not signed yet for the movie. We're working out the fine points. He said, Universal said, take it or leave it. In other words, if you don't do it this way, you're not doing the movie. So I went back to my wife, which men we should always do. I went to my wife and I said, hey, this is the ultimatum, honey. We haven't done a big studio movie in 10, 12 years. She said, you know, we're going to pray about it. We prayed about it, didn't hear any clear answers, but after we were done praying, she said, say yes. Say yes, you'll do it. But she said, I just know, I have this very strong feeling in my spirit that it's not going to happen. I said, honey, they want to shoot it in 2 days. She said, just say yes. And sure enough, I show up on the set 2 days later, and Seth MacFarlane comes running to me, waving the pages, saying, you're not going to believe it. Universal just called, and they deleted the entire 3-page monologue. And you know, when you're a man walking in faith, you know, you don't want to say, I mean, I wanted to say, well, what happened? But, you know, I know what happened. Prayer was answered, okay? So I decided not to ask him what happened. But that was answered prayer. There was enough going on with the character of this, you know, and the party stuff, right? That to me I can deal with. But to sit there and do hundreds and hundreds of words, you know, all about the benefit. Anyway, God answered that prayer. My wife was right. And I didn't have to burden and confuse our younger generation with this lie, you know. Bet you didn't expect to hear that answer. Yes?
I was going to ask, well, you know, as a Christian and a fellow with a lot, you know, certain like moral beliefs and stuff.
Yeah.
Has that caused you any about?
Oh, I don't think, the question is, he said, as a Christian, and having moral beliefs and values, does it,
Well, it kind of.
it hasn't hurt me, has it?
Like the roles that you received.
Well, let me see, I think the only part I ever turned down was for a character who eliminated children. I'm just trying to use this, you know, a better word. a guy who eliminated children. And I said, and they were shocked. I mean, I'll never forget in that room, I said, guys, it's a great storyline until you got to that point. And I said, that third meeting was for me to say yes. And I said, and after reconsidering, I said, I just can't do it. They would have paid me a ton of money. And they were shocked. They were shocked and amazed. But to get to your specific point, has having moral values, and, being a Christian. Well, here's my Christian belief is, as Billy Graham would say, I love this quote. We should memorize this quote and never forget it. He says, his quote is, preach the word every day of your life, and at times, I'm sorry, I blew that. He says, preach the gospel every day of your life, and at times use words. Okay, you got it? So in other words, just demonstrate godliness. Just demonstrate it. But sit there and talk about who you are and what you do is nonsense. I tried that for a while. It didn't work. It just showed, I hired a Christian carpenter one day. Okay, he shows up. He shows up an hour late every day. I said, Brian, what are you doing, man? 3 consecutive days you're showing up at 9 o'clock. You're supposed to be here at 8 a.m. Oh, I had to stop and pray for a friend. I said, number 1, Brian, was your friend dying? No. Okay. Number 2, how late for work were you? I laid it all out for him. I said, I don't give a crap. I'm sorry. You sit there and you use the fact that you're a Christian. Your job as a Christian, okay, if you're setting a standard above anybody else, is to be in my house at 8 o'clock on time. He was blown away that I reprimanded him on that. I could care less what any label. Matter of fact, in America right now, especially men, we got to be real careful about labels that we belong to. You ask me what political party I belong to? I belong to the common sense, practical thinking party, okay? Come on, my God, seriously, left, right. Let's just be, as my wife says, 3 things we should do before we open our mouth. Number 1, is it truth? Number 2, is it necessary? And number 3, is it kind? Wow, is it truth? Is it necessary? Is it kind? I think we've lost a lot of that. But has these values and this way of life hurt me? It probably has, and maybe I would say people operating in fear, afraid to hire me because what? I'm going to try to get everybody saved on the set? What? No. My job is to show up on that set and be better than anybody else in whatever my task at the time is. That's my job as a believer in Jesus, and not preaching to anybody else. If they ask me, I tell them. But that's my job. So I would say maybe it's hurt me not because of me, because if people really knew my heart and my mind, they'd understand. You want this guy working with you and for you, because I'm the go-to guy if there's an emergency that happens. That's the Marine in me, right? And number 2, I'm the guy that's going to help encourage any spoiled actors with attitude to get over themselves, okay? You want me working for you and with you, and I will bring value to your project. But I think maybe fear-based on certain people that don't know me, maybe they didn't hire me because they just operate in fear. That's all. That's how I look at that.
Yes, sir.
That's a good question, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Completely unrelated. Why do you think Hollywood has a problem with drawing people to movies now? I mean, they talk about a lot of movies being flops lately.
A lot of movies are being what?
Flops or failing. I mean, what's Hollywood doing wrong to draw people?
Well, I mean, specifically, why are the movies not so good? Is that what you're saying anymore?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because it comes down to common sense, practical thinking. What do the people of America want? What do they want? To me, what I see, they just want to see, they want to go and be transported to a different time, different place, to be taken on an adventure. They don't want to sit there and have to brainstorm to this big mystery to figure out, okay? They just want to go, oh, here's the good guy. Here's the innocence. Oh, here's the nemesis. Here's the villain. Oh, they're abusing or hurting the innocents. Ah, here comes the good guy. Boom. Now, let's make it also, obviously, other than that, good and evil. Let's make it about the human condition. But when you start getting weird for weird's sake, or creative for creative's sake, and losing the whole point, people are sick and tired of it. And also, you got the other dynamic of Netflix. I mean, how do you think I watch all my movies, man, or TV series? I mean, are you kidding? Because I have to be honest, you know, I kind of embarrass my wife and my kids when I go to movie theaters. Okay, because when I go to a movie theater to watch a movie, I want to watch the movie. I want to hear what the actors are saying, but all of a sudden I get somebody behind me with they bring their own sandwich and tinfoil, or they're drinking, and this is what I hear when now you want to do that during the battle scenes, which bang, bang, shoot 'em up, explosion? But when the actor or actress up on the big screen is giving me some quiet, important sense of information, and all I hear right by my ear is, okay, and here's what I do. I give them maybe 10 seconds. If it continues, I'll turn it on and say, excuse me, can you eat a little quieter so I can hear the dialogue from the actors on the screen? Okay, and my family won't go to the movie theaters with me anymore. But the last time I did that, there was a whole family behind me. I mean, the whole family, mom, dad, they had 4 kids. And there was one of the daughters was probably 16 or 17. So I did that, what I just told you. I turned around and I said, can you eat a little quieter? And all of a sudden you heard a pin drop. And then you heard the 16-year-old girl's voice say, Daddy, was that scary man talking to me? And I turned around, you know what? He didn't answer. I turned around and said, yes, I was, honey. Yes, I was. We're there to watch a movie. Come on. So let me just stay home with Netflix, okay? Okay, let me put on a DVD. And if I want to watch a series, who watches TV series? Is that ridiculous? Is that addicting? I sit there on a Saturday if I'm not traveling, and I put on a series for 11 hours. You get to watch the whole show, no commercials, and you get to stop it and go to a bathroom break and come back and make some popcorn and some sandwiches with tinfoil and make all the noise you want to make, man. Okay. I mean, come on. But no, do I love going to movies? Yes. But I just can't. And then they have these luxury theaters. How many people have ever been to a luxury theater where they serve alcohol, right? Okay, well, in San Diego, I think we have the first luxury theater in America. It's called the Cinépolis, right? Okay, $24 it is now. I went there 3 years ago when it opened. Okay, I'm watching the movie. I paid I think it was $20 when it first started. Sitting there, oh, this is great. You recline the chair, I swear, am I making this up? You're watching a movie like this, man. You're all the way back, right? But they didn't quite figure out the little squeaky noise when you hit the recliner, right? If it's not done right, you got the vinyl and leather rubbing against each other going, you know, it's horrible. But I can get over that. And then they're bringing you food, and they kind of creep in on their knees, and they crawl, so they're not blocking anybody, and they're real quiet, and you got that sandwich or that hamburger, whatever it is. And I said, this is great. And all of a sudden the movie starts, right? And I'm listening, the way I told you, and there's the battle scenes, yeah! And all of a sudden the quiet information that you need to hear right now, okay? And all of a sudden you hear somebody take a bottle of wine out of a wine bucket with slushy ice, okay? And I said, no, it was ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Slushy ice, the big champagne bucket. I said, this is ridiculous, man. So yeah, I'm better off either committing me or just renting the whole movie theater by myself. Okay, seriously. Yeah.
So what kind of some of the shows you enjoy watching these days?
Well, for TV, I can't watch TV. I can't watch series anymore on Netflix because of the addiction. I'm sorry. The show I watched that I just completely addicted. It was like a drug. Was Peaky Blinders? Who saw Peaky? Peaky Blinders with a P. Peaky Blinders. Think of a horse wearing blinders. I was blown away. Did you see that? It's ridiculous. It's the turn of the century last century, that's right, last century with, if I'm right here, the Irish gang, the English gang, the Italian gang, the Jewish gang. The Orthodox Jewish gang, the gang leader played by Tom Hardy, okay, Hasidic Jew. Think about that, hardcore gang leader. Anyway, that was, so I spent 11 hours on a Saturday, and I said, I can't do this anymore. So I watched movies. And I've seen everything on Netflix. Now I'm on the Chinese subtitles of the action movies. Okay, the production quality, I mean, you gotta really, I gotta stop a lot because the subtitles, the English subtitles come up really quick and disappear. But some of the Chinese movies, the production quality is as good, if not better, than some of our big movies. But I've seen everything on Netflix, okay, or on the airplane. I fly almost every weekend.
Man, I just want to say it's good to hear a man stand up for his faith in this day and age. Not many people are speaking that way.
Well, we have to. I mean, especially, I only do it because I wish somebody had told me at a young age, that's why in the early years, I think I had a lot of people around me who, I made some wrong choices, who should not have been around me. They were always, yes, you're great. Well, we all want to be lifted up and encouraged, but I need a circle of friends around me to say, hey, Sam, you need to reevaluate your thinking on that issue right now. You need to go to your friend, you need to apologize and tell them, that's what I need to hear in my life. I needed to hear that in the early years of Hollywood. I wasn't hearing it because I chose not to hear it, okay, or receive it. But thank you for that. That's our job. I mean, why else would the good Lord bless me with work? Is it just to get the work and get the money and say thank you, goodbye? No, it's to pass it on. It's to pass it on, man, and lift people up. We all need to be lifted up right now out of the muck and the mire and the frustration and all this stuff. We have to. Remember what my wife said. Is it truth before we speak a word? Is it truth? Is it necessary? And 3, is it kind? Now sometimes, well, Sam, what if you have to go fire somebody? Well, go up to them and tell them the same thing. Well, number 1 is truth. Number 2 is necessary. Now, when you're firing this person, just encourage them. Say, look, I got to let you go because you've had 2, 3 warnings. You got to go now. But I bet you that the good Lord is going to put you in the position that you're very good at. But you get out there, but this isn't going to work out for you. But I know there's something out there that you're going to be very good at, that you're going to help people. That's how you do it, man. Even by firing somebody, right? That cool?
Oh, Sam, we got the 5-minute warning about...
5-minute warning, okay, man. Well, I'll stop with the 20-minute answers then, all right? Yes, sir, white shirt.
I know probably in TED 2 was a little easier, but with TED 1, knowing that, TED is an inanimate object and just the stuff there, and yet it's still like the main character that portrays so much emotion and comedy like that. How was it for you when you were acting to interact with it and try to portray yourself?
Oh, with the bear.
With the bear.
Well, the bear wasn't there. There was nothing there but maybe a piece of tape on a wall or something like that. But what was unique, interacting with the bear, you just, look, I love to improvise. I love to ad-lib. Of course, the classically trained actors in Shakespeare hate me, okay, because, there's no improvisation or ad-libbing with the dialogue in Shakespeare. It's the iambic pentameter, stick to script. Anyway, interacting with that bear, you just make it up. But here was the challenge for me. During my first big studio movie in 10 or 12 years, I've seen a lot of independent movies, but the first 10 to 12, the first big budget, usually in the old days, the director, here's the camera right here, right? There's the camera shooting me right now. Well, the director was always right there where he is. That's always where the director is, right there next to camera. But there's been a big, huge transition, especially the past 10 years, even before that, where they're no longer there next to camera. They're off in a corner in what they call a video village, sitting under a canopy or in a room. It could be outside that door, or it could be 300 meters away. But they're sitting in front of anywhere from 2 to 6 monitors, just making sure that, I'm in frame, and I don't get this, me, Sam, I don't get this part because you pay good cameramen, good focus pullers to do that, okay? But I got it, the studio budget. So Seth is the director in Video Village, and he's also what? He's the voice of the bear, right? So here he is talking to me. I have an earpiece so I can hear him. And when he says something, I have to say, Seth, are you the director or are you the bear? Okay, what are you doing? Are you the bear? Are you the director? So we got some good, fresh stuff. But yeah, it's always challenging. I mean, Flash Gordon was all. There was blue screen back then, and there was nobody there in space with me. I'm up on the rocket cycle, up on a big crane pedestal thing, and I'm just improvising, looking at people and hawk bend and things that are not there. So yeah, you read the script and you study it, and of course a good director will say, okay, now Voltan, he flies down and he talks to you, he bumps you, or here comes another spaceship. Yeah, so that helps. You just got to do it, man. Yeah, next.
Guys, I was going to say, well, yeah, we're at the 4:30 mark, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah.
Well, 2 more quick ones. I'll make them quick. 1.
After you left the show.
What show?
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. The movie, not the show. The movie.
Yeah. The characters lived on in comic book form.
Yes.
Have you had any association with?
Oh yeah. He wants to know if I had an association with the actors from Flash Gordon from 38 years ago. Yeah.
Well, the comic book. Jeff Parker wrote the comic book for Dynamite Comics.
Yeah. If I had any interaction with writers, not so much the comic book writers, no. But I'll see them at the Comic Con sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Last question. Yes, young lady. My favorite movie. What do you think is my favorite movie? Flash Gordon, yeah. Well, it is. It's one of my favorites. But there's, I don't know why, it just happens to be Mel Gibson is attached to it. But also growing up, raising my kids, my boys and my daughters, Patriot and Braveheart. And I don't think you're too young to see those. But we would interact all the little action scenes. I'd have a rubber hatchet and some rubber guns, and we just, at your age and younger, we'd reenact all the scenes during Braveheart and during Patriot. But I want to say this, one of my favorite actors other than Mel Gibson, people like that, Denzel Washington is probably one of my favorite actors. You know why? Every time I see Denzel, even though I've met him a couple times, I just feel like I don't see any acting in that at all. I just see this guy being the character. And he really draws you into his world. It is wonderful. It really is wonderful. All right? Well, thank you. I'll be here all day and then all day tomorrow. All right?
Thank you, guys. I just want to say real fast, someone had asked the question of Sam about who his favorite superhero is. After sitting here, I think you understand why this man here is my favorite superhero.
Come on now.
Not Flash Gordon, but Sam Jones.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's hear it for Dan. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, buddy. All right.
You got it.
All righty. Let's
Sam, again, always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes.